Welcome back to the channel. Now, as you can see by the title, Race Car Purgatory, well, let me explain. I did not believe that I was going to go all of 2024 and not race this car. But that's what ended up happening. And I believe everything happens for a reason. So I'm not too mad about it because everything is kind of coming to fruition as far as my vision for the car. So let me give y'all an update on what's going on with the car. Back in March, you could not have told me that it would have taken the rest of the year before I got my motor and transmission and rear end up under this car. But that's what it took. Now, half of that time is sat in somebody's shop so that I can get my frame notched, the cross member for my 4L80 put in, and my solid mounts welded to the frame. So we finally get the car back and begin the process of cleaning the frame off because I wanted to paint the firewall and the front frame so that when I put all my new suspension parts on, everything would be nice and neat. We get the car unloaded, finally back in the shop so that we can actually really get started working on it. I mean, all of the wiring and stuff had pretty much been done, but now it was time to get the front end put together and get the motor and transmission put in. This was the mock-up block we used. If you ever worked on one of these old cars before, you know when you're taking off suspension parts that have been on the car since its existence, a lot of stuff rusted, a lot of stuff that not real easy to come off. So it was a little work tearing the front suspension down, but we got it done. With everything tore out, I can now get to the process of cleaning the frame up and the firewall, painting it so that we could put all these new front brake goodies on from Wheelwood. Now, I had 2-inch drop spindles on my old car, and I putting 2-inch drop spindles on this one as well. And when you're doing the Wheelwood brakes with the stock spindle, you have to cut the ears off, and that's in the instructions. So anybody who's dealt with G-Body front ends or S10s and you had the drop spindles, you know you have to cut those ears off so that the hardware from the Wheelwood disc brake kit will fit properly. You can see I have trick chassis, tubular control arms on the front. I didn't have it on the old car, but I do have them on this one. And here it is. I was able to get the firewall painted. Scott Raw Fab does the AC delete. Now, if you saw my old car, you knew how the stance on it was pretty killer. But the stance on the blue car, not so much. And so I had to ensure that the blue car set the same way that the green car set. So shout out to my man Brent Dumas for doing the chassis and the suspension work on the rear, relocating the shocks, and getting the anti-roll bar set on my rear end so that we can get back to this stance. Also, my new wheels, they came in from 3030 Autosport. So we got the car back and we're ready to put the motor and the transmission in it. And if anybody knows anything about a 4L80, you know that's a very, very heavy transmission. And with the torque converter from Circle D, it's 250 pounds of weight. So we've always used this motorcycle jack to help us when we put this transmission in, especially when the motor's in the car and we just trying to take out the transmission. So we used it to kind of make this process a whole lot easier. And I got some help from my godson, who's a varsity football player at Melville High School, to do some of that lifting for us as well. But we finally got the motor and transmission in the car with a little wiggling. We didn't scratch up a whole lot of paint, so I was thankful for that. So during this time, my front wheels finally came in from 3030 Autosport, and I was able to get those on the front, and man, they look better than I imagined. I can't wait to pull this car out in the sun and have it all cleaned up. I think it's gonna be a real nice looking piece when it's done. So, as you can see, we got rims and tires on the car now. Got the engine in. I wasn't too sure about that paint scheme, but then once I started painting it, I fell in love with it. Everything is pretty much wired up. The vision that I was kind of going for with hiding the wiring, that's coming to fruition. But the big thing is these 3030 Autosport Legends. And I can say this was probably worth the wait. It's probably worth the wait itself in these wheels. But everything is coming along. We got the battery mounted, starting to run all my wiring for that. All the wiring in the inside is pretty much done. Got my Monte Carlo steering wheel in it. It's a dyed gray steering column. If y'all remember from episode 1, me painting the interior. Here's the door. Got rid of the burgundy. Haven't put all of it in. Seats are mounted. Just gotta finish some minor wiring. But the Holly and everything is in. I need to tie my key on and everything. Right now we're having an issue with this header. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's very close up against the lower control arm bracket, so we're doing some grinding to kind of get that to fit flush. Front suspension, I'm waiting on the front shock so I can finish tying all that down. But yeah, here we go. Pretty much got everything done. Now it's just getting back to work, putting the car back together, core support, tank. About to be the Christmas holidays, and I'm gonna be off for 2 weeks, so I'm gonna be grinding. Hopefully for 2025, the car be cranked and we'll be making some noise around here. So we're gonna end this video right here. You guys stay tuned for episode 4, which hopefully will get me closer to cranking the engine. We should be making some noise by the time we get to episode 4. So stay locked in. Again, check me out on Instagram, Mr. 62, YouTube, the 62 King. Like, subscribe, share. Let's get the algorithm flowing for this channel. All right, see you soon.